Sometimes we just gotta look in the mirror. We pretend that we are girls. We pretend that we are looking out for each other, but no, we're actually monitoring. Assalamu alaikum, babes. Welcome back to Sincerely Assanatou, a podcast where we talk everything womanhood, sisterhood, motherhood, and lifestyle through the lens of Islam. I am your host, Assanatou, and today's topic is going to be revolving around the theme of sisterhood, trust, judgment, and community dynamics. And now the reason why I chose this topic today, it's because there's been an uproar on social media recently about a dear sister of ours who's a public figure who recently took her hijab off, and it has sparked the internet's anger, specifically from our sisters. So let's start from the basics. Okay. Let's talk about the value of sisterhood in Islam. First of all, Islam is not a religion to be practiced individually. The very core of our religion stems from how we interact with other people, the way we behave, our character when it comes to other people, and of course, directly our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that community part is such an important part because this is where we relate. This is where we seek help from. This is who we go to when, then we need something. It is our community, and that's the society cannot function without the community. Now, in my opinion, real sisterhood looks like having it, and when I say sisterhood, I'm not talking about go and befriend everybody you see on the internet. Of course, you want to make sure you choose someone that shares the same value as you and also follow the same path, the same road that you're on. But definitely you want someone who you can feel emotionally safe with, somebody who has a loyalty, someone you know can stick or you can stick through no matter what. And again, I'm not saying go ahead and befriend everybody, but some people just get very lucky and are able to find like a huge community where they're able to get all these aspects. But sometimes just one or two friends is more than enough. Okay. Quality over quantity for starters, but you want a friend who you have a backbone, like that's your girl. You know, you can run to her whenever you need advice and whenever you want to relax. That's your sister, literally, right? So having someone who's at least trustworthy is so important because you need someone who can listen to you without judging you. A lot of the time when you have that trusting ear, it even helps you staying on the right path. Sometimes it helps you from, going astray. Sometimes you just desperately need someone to lend you an ear. And having a trustworthy friend is so important in those vulnerable times because it allows you to really truly be yourself without having that fear that there might be some either negative repercussion, or if, something was to happen, you're truly there on your own. But you want someone who also protects your secrets. You want to be able to talk to the person without having the fear that, hey, I don't know who I'm going to hear about myself from the next day. You want someone who reminds and advises you gently. And when I say gently, I'm not always talking about in a sweet tone. Sometimes you have to be spoken to harshly for you to understand. It really depends on the person, but you want someone who's advising you with love, with intent, with care. You know that they're coming to you because they are looking out for you. And most importantly, you want to surround yourself with someone who can help you grow spiritually and emotionally and get you closer to the deen. I think that is one of the most important qualities to look for in a friend or in a community. Whenever you want to, join or be part of it, you always want someone who brings you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, never away from it. Now, the reality is there is a lot of hypocrisy within the Muslimah community, unfortunately. And I say that with pain because every day I see us on the internet fighting for our fellow sisters, honestly, and we are always standing with women, and we are trying to defend our rights. We're trying to make our voices heard. We are trying to allow ourselves to be seen. However, a lot of the misogyny and the attack in our community do not come from men. They come from ourselves. There is a lack of transparency and hypercriticism when it comes to dealing with our own sisters. There is this almost like blurry line between caring for such a sister and also being in a competition with her. So let's talk about it. The double standard is crazy. It is absolutely insane. Women who are perfect, or women wanting to be perfect Muslimah around other women, forgetting that it is part of our very nature to be faulty or to fall into sin or to have our own struggle. It doesn't make sense for you to befriend someone or to pretend to be something that you're not because you're trying to upkeep or uphold a standard when it's quite literally impossible to achieve it. And what happens when you befriend or you become part of a community when you are holding these ideologies? Well, you eventually falter. Right? It eventually comes out. There is a nasty part of you or whoever is doing so that eventually shows up when the person is no longer fulfilling that perfection, or you are enable yourself to fulfill that perfection in which you have already set the standard for, right? And that often manifests into being bitter towards other women, putting them down, shaming them. The list go on and on and on. The culture of judging someone for slipping instead of helping them back up is insane. It is absolutely insane. And I am making reference to this in light of, that sister, who recently took off her hijab, and I made a TikTok video about it. And and genuinely, I was it disheartened me. I was very disheartened when I saw that this sister was getting so much backlash, and rarely ever, that is the key, rarely ever was the backlash from the men. It was mostly women, be it that is in the comment section or making the videos. It was mostly women that I saw were like, oh my gosh, she took up the hijab, astaghfirullah, I always knew something, bashing the sister up so bad. Now, I am not here to defend the sister's action. I believe that everybody goes through their own struggle, and honestly, it is between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, for you to publicly come and bash this sister and insult and defame her and really dirt her character down, I was shocked. Coming from a community of women who scream, "We are girls," that was so uncalled for. And then I took a step back and I realized it's actually not as rare or not as uncommon as I thought it is. It actually happens very often. We like to focus the light on, oh, the men are doing this, the men are calling the hijabis, they're creating hell for us. But no, really, sometimes it's really the sisters going under the comments, bashing the same sister that they claim they would defend. Oh, your hijab is not on properly. If you're not going to wear it properly, just don't wear it at all. Oh, she thinks she did something. Astaghfirullah. And the judgments are so harsh. And the only thing that kept going in my mind is, imagine someone is actually trying to, or is struggling. Let's say they reverted back to Islam and they are struggling in such a way. This community, this culture built around this hypocrisy can very easily turn someone away from Islam. That's how dangerous it is. People pretending to support other people, but in reality, you guys are putting the girls down whenever there's like a minor inconvenience, whenever there's a little bit of flaw showing. Rarely ever. I mean, there were those comments of the girls like, oh, may Allah make it easier for you. It's not the end of it all. We are going all through the struggle. But the comments and going as far as making videos talking about oh, you never wanted to put the hijab on and everything. Like, negating the fact that this sister has literally built her entire brand on helping other Muslim women in their journey to Islam. I think that is quite literally insane. And there's like this lack of understanding of the emotional impact that have on us as Muslim women, and it pushes us toward this space where now we are hiding our own struggle, right? So the next sister is thinking that, oh, everything is actually jolly in everybody else's words except mine, and there must be something wrong with me. Women start feeling like they really cannot be imperfect. So we are striving towards a goal that quite literally does not exist, right? We are chasing after something that is not stagnant, it's not stable, it's not firm. We are just running and running and running. And it prevents genuine friendship and genuineness in general, because if you're stuck pretending all the time, then who are you really being yourself to? Does that make sense? It creates such a toxic culture around what it means to not only just be a Muslim woman, but also create isolation. I don't want to be part of the greater group. I don't want to be part of, the community, because this is what happens when you stay in the community. You get judged, you get shamed. If you are anything less than perfect, then you are this horrendous thing that needs to, to stay away from the collective group. What good would that do? Genuinely, like, what good would that do? I feel like today trust is so rare because there is this lurk, like people who would almost like build a tab, a folder, a whole secret stack on other people's like mistakes and wrongdoings, and I think that's why when friendship falls, it falls really, really hard. People have just built this entire case on their friends and just waited for the day where maybe something minor happens, and then all of a sudden, oh, you did X, Y, and Z, you were doing da-da-da, you were doing da-da-da. And then some of them are just superficial, right? I'm only here because of X, Y, and Z, and it's benefiting me. But soon as this stops, then so do our friendship. I don't think we speak about it enough. I think if we somehow shift the focus from men are hating us to actually looking inside and seeing that we are hating each other too low-key, there's much more, I think, greater good that can stem from it than rather than having this superficial ideology that, oh, the pain is coming much more from the other side than it is from inside. Because we're doing the most damage if we're claiming that we are supporting each other, and then when the time for supporting each other comes, we're not. We don't got to worry about them, and they don't got to do anything. We're doing it to ourselves. And that's that, right? And then there's this idea of secret competition, like social media driven comparison. Oh, if she's like this, then I must be so. And it becomes like the bitterness settles in so slowly. It becomes this small competition whereby, like, if they're doing that, and that's what I say, you guys also be very, very careful what you consume, because you literally are what you intake. You are going to see this girl who you have absolutely no idea about her life, her past, her family dynamic, where she's from, what she's endured, and you are going toe to toe with a stranger on the internet because you feel like maybe her life is aesthetically pleasing, or she's able to attract maybe a certain crowd, or you feel like she's ideal. Yes, copy good behavior, but you don't want to copy someone else's life. And so what happened is that you practice fake admiration for this sister because, oh my God, how can she be so perfect? I want to be like her. And soon as there is a flaw or there is a mistake, or the sister is struggling, then yeah, that's my time to shine. I knew she wasn't as good as I thought she was. By the way, that speaks more about ourselves than it does on the person we're judging, right? I want you to look internally. If someone falters or someone falls into sin publicly, and you turn around and you feel so convicted in your heart to be like, yeah, I knew she wasn't all that. It tells more about you than it does about the person who fell into the sin. Sometimes we just gotta look in the mirror. We pretend that we are girls. We pretend that we are looking out for each other, but no, we're actually monitoring, waiting for the downfall to happen. But in the light of that, what would a healthy friendship or Muslimah friendship mean? I feel like protecting each other for sin. Like, for example, the sister who took off her hijab, I could only imagine what if she had like received thousands of DMs instead of this public bashing, telling her, hey, it's going to be okay. Inshallah, may Allah make it easy for you. You know, you have inspired me so much and I wish you would keep thriving in, wearing your hijab. I understand you might be going through, like, showing compassion, empathizing with this sister. Maybe by now she will be back wearing her hijab, sharing a story, like, feel comfortable. We drive each other out so bad that sometimes, like, it's almost like a relief when people are out. It's like, oh, thank God I ripped off the band-aids because it was too much pressure. Why are we giving each other that much pressure? Why are we doing that? Quiet reminders, speaking softly, choosing sincerity when you are advising. And like I said, you do not have to follow the sister if you feel like whatever it is that she's now engaging in does not fit in with your brand, your identity, your value, whatever the case may be. You don't need to publicly bash the sister. You can just choose to unfollow. You just choose to no longer be part of whatever it is that she is doing because it doesn't align with your values. There is literally no benefit to shaming the sister. And I really, really wish that as women in our community, as Muslimah, we choose to normalize imperfect people, understanding that someone might be doing really, really good today and tomorrow may be struggling. We don't need to be sitting down lurking, waiting for them to fall down. We need to come in with the mindset of whoever you choose to follow on the internet or watch on the internet, even the people closest to you. You have to come up with or approach it with the mindset that it is not permanent. People have highs and people have lows. It's not, oh, I'm always going to be, up here. You have to have that compassion for when they are down here, you are able to step in as a friend. Hey, I noticed that something is going on with you. Is there anything I can do to help you? Sometimes it just takes one friend to change someone's entire life around, both positively and negatively. You never want to be on the negative side. You never want to be the reason why someone is crying themselves to sleep at night. You never want to be the reason why someone is taking their hijab off or feeling glad that they did. You never want to be the reason why someone just feel horrible about themselves and everything. And I'm not saying do not call out when people are doing bad, right? But there's a difference in calling out bad character versus defaming someone or shaming someone, right? And then there's a way to approach it rather than, oh, she has always wanted to do it. Like, girl, we know you've been like that. Like, how about, oh, we know that wearing the hijab is so hard, but keep pushing. There is beauty in the struggle, right? Approaching with grace, with compassion. But we are so judgmental. We are so harsh towards each other that it's like we're in a competition with one another, which makes no sense in the context of sisterhood and community. There's no reason why, as a Muslim, you cannot feel and love and dote on your, other fellow women. There's no reason why. Absolutely none. So I want to remind you that sisterhood is a blessing. It is your duty and my duty to create a space where women, Muslim women, feel safe, where they can be themselves, where they can truthfully and sincerely get advised, where they can speak about the struggle that they're going through without being judged, but rather gently reminded and redirected towards something better for themselves. Maybe the girl we are judging today ends up being the girl that needed us the most. And you never want to be the girl who couldn't help her. So there's a lot to be said about community in Islam, honestly, and in the realm of sisterhood. But I hope, and I really, really true hope that in light of all of this, we choose to be more compassionate towards each other. We choose to love one another. We choose to be gentle with one another and sincerely encourage each other to always thrive in the right path and in goodness without hurting anybody. Well, with that comes the conclusion of this episode. And I sincerely pray that if you're a Muslim woman out there who's in need of a friend, you find that girl, you find that sister who's able to be that for you and help you through whatever it is that you're struggling with. Well, that was all. Thank you for watching Sincerely Assanatou, and I will see you in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum.